Coming up on today's wrestling news, it turns out it's your fault John Cena's turned heel.
We've got WWE's internal response to the big first Cena promo.
Vince McMahon makes a rare public appearance.
And a WWE heel working babyface on the house shows.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. So obviously only one place to start today, Hamflett, and that is with John Cena, who opened last night's Monday Night Raw. The first time we've actually heard from him following his... I still can't believe I'm saying this. Heel turn at Elimination Chamber, selling his soul. You sold out.
That's good stuff.
Saw the sign yesterday to The Rock, of course. The Rock.
Saw some other signs as well.
Yep. The Rock and Soul Connection, as they are now known, of course. But yes, he opened last night's Raw in Brussels. He was on at tea time for us. We watched it live, and me and him were texting back and forth, going, "What the hell is going on here?" Because John Cena came out, no new music, no new outfits. We don't get that. We don't deserve that, apparently.
Nope.
But he's blaming you and you, all of us basically,
Sorry,
as to the reason why the 16-time world champion has turned heel. He said, for the past 25 years, I've been the victim. I've been the victim of an abusive relationship. All you do is be hurtful. All you're always abusive. All you've done is bully me into being your damn puppet and expected me to do so with a smile on my face. Well, no more. He went through, I'm not going to do everything in the promo. I will do on the Raw review, though. Great podcast coming your way later on today. He went through the fact that, he tried so hard to be liked by everyone. He won, and he won, and he won, and he won. It still wasn't enough for you gits. But he said, very interestingly, he said, look, I am not a babyface. I am not a heel. I am a human being, and each and every one of you, the only time it actually works, has been awful to me. With regards to his retirement tour, he said, I tried one last time to get along with you guys, do something nice for you, and you bloody ruined it. Just like you ruin everything. Just remembering Cody's line at the end of this, as I say these lines. With regards to his fans, including a small child dressed in full Cena attire, he said, you claim to support me. What have you ever done? All you ever do is steal from me. You steal my personal moments, you steal my time. And he concluded the promo by confirming he was breaking up with every single one of you. Less, it's not you, it's me. More, it's you.
It's 100% you.
Cody Rhodes came out, and the dichotomy between love and hate has never been clearer, to be perfectly honest, with the way that Cody Rhodes is received, and John Cena just looking at him going, you silly little kid. I tried to call him kid as well.
He did.
Cody was having none of that. But Cody fired at him following what happened at Elimination Chamber. He said, even after what you did, John, I was excited at the prospect of going week to week, face to face with John Cena, and instead, I get this. Well, this better not show up at WrestleMania, because if it does, I run it over. I run it out because I already took its best shot and it wasn't good enough. I retire it early, so go find John Cena, because I want to wrestle him at WrestleMania 41. Not this whiny bitch.
Woo!
What an opening to last night's Raw.
Yeah, as you pointed out, we will go deeper into this on the Raw review, wherever you get your podcasts, or indeed on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast YouTube channel. So we'll try and keep thoughts marginally briefer here, because we do try and keep these news videos within 20 minutes.
Yes.
And this entire segment went about 35.
Yeah.
So,
and I never wanted it to end, to be honest.
I could have watched the entire show with it just being these two going back and forth, or indeed just Cena going back and forth with the audience, one kid at a time.
Yeah.
Like every single fan. What have you ever given me? Well, a lot of residuals from the hat, the wristbands, the armbands.
Other than that.
Other than the, thanks a lot for the mailbox money, no.
Even Michael Cole shot in him afterwards, didn't he?
Yeah. He certainly did. Raw was on at tea time, and I had to explain a few swear words that my kids weren't to copy, because fair few came out early doors, because they don't see adult YouTube yet, because we can't get through on YouTube Kids. That's coming. No, the promo that I think ultimately everybody was glued to Raw for, and indeed, I've no doubt everybody had their own opinion on how best it was going to be done, and I think it was natural there was going to be a load of opinions on it. I loved it, instantly loved it, and again I will extrapolate more on that later on, and a sense from your wonderful performance, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Warwick University.
that you liked it as well. I have seen some criticisms of it, and indeed the key words that I think leapt out at me as a positive but hit many as negative of each and every one of you. Never felt more justified. If there was ever a man that has tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to keep that biliousness locked away, but the water level just rose and rose and rose, and then last night the dam finally burst, and it was maybe a lack of link to what we saw at Elimination Chamber that didn't sit right with people. I don't know. We'll see about that. I still have my suspicions that your final boss, not mine, your final boss basically said about a week before the Rumble, I want a heel actually. And Cody did say no, and Cena said, all right, I'll do it. So they may still have to like staple some of what Cena is now to what The Rock wanted to curate at Elimination Chamber. We will see. They're going to be in the same building, under one roof next week when Raw's in Glasgow. So we'll see more of that next week. But yeah, ultimately...
Just a small matter of Punk and Roman on SmackDown.
Indeed. With Seth there, like, barging in the middle of it now as well. Cody, I will say, I want to isolate for particular credit because this will be considered the first John Cena heel promo. But for me, by the end, this was a money WrestleMania segment. You had a very clear babyface with motivation, a heel with motivation, a real sense of anger between both men. And I love Cody not attacking him, not jumping him, not surprising him, because that's the heel move. John Cena did that to him at Elimination Chamber.
He's going to get to fight him eventually.
Yeah, he knows the match is coming regardless, so he's waiting for him to say his piece like a smart babyface and then put him in his place like a bold and brave one. It was for me, this, but of course we welcome your comments on this below. It's certainly going to be the topic of conversation between now and Friday's SmackDown when we go again with Punk, Roman and Rollins. But yeah, I guess the first true face-off between the WrestleMania main eventers, because the Elimination Chamber one was more of a kind of an out-of-nowhere turn for all the ages. This was the first of, what, probably 3 of these we'll get between now and WrestleMania. So the first words have been shared. I imagine it will degenerate into physicality as we get closer to the show of shows.
Doesn't have to for me.
I could see them trying to keep it as patient as possible, but I'll be amazed if we don't get a bit more physicality from Cena, especially if The Rock shows up. Seeing the two of them together will again change the dynamic a little bit, and Cena will look like more of one of this monolith of the two of him and The Rock stood next to each other. And Travis Scott that Cody has to work against, whereas last night it was he looked beatable, didn't he?
Yeah.
In a one-on-one situation, and he won.
Yeah, with regards, we'll get to the sort of WWE reaction to all this in a second, but with regards to sort of fan reaction to it, like you say, you and I are very much in one camp of just like, wow, with regards to this promo. But I understand other people saying, oh, I was hoping for something different. I was hoping for maybe a suit and booted John Cena. But I like the fact that he factored that in and was like, no, you don't get that. After all the work that I put in, you all said, and I saw people saying, this isn't a cool heel. You're right, it shouldn't be a cool heel. It shouldn't be someone who's, the whole problem they've had for years and years and years is let's go Cena sucks. And I know there was an element to that last night, although the let's go Cena camp are probably like, I guess we're going to Cena sucks camp.
Yeah, he aimed for them first. It was like, let's kill this. We're not doing this.
He's not, I saw people comparing like, oh, well, how does Cena's promo compare to an MJF promo? They're two very different things, in my opinion. And yeah, John Cena is one of the only person I'd say who could pull off an each and every one of you believably, because that's the character he's lived for 25 years, or fought someone who says stuff like that. Yeah. And yeah, he's not someone who should be cool now, or someone who the sort of snarky fans are like, I know, I can't like him now. He should be someone you're like, you're a dickhead, John.
Yeah, he's still John Cena.
Yeah, he's John Cena. He comes out, and I love the fact also, he didn't really, in his head, take into account Cody Rhodes firing back at him. He thought, when Cody Rhodes came out, the first thing he said was like, listen, kid. Yeah. Like, he was just like, come here, I'll take. He was like, no, I'm a world champion. Yeah. I've been a world champion for nearly a year now. So I loved all of it. I'm very excited to see what Sidge thinks of it. We'll talk more about it, as you mentioned, on the podcast. And I can understand, people maybe having different expectations for it. I didn't know what to expect, and that kind of helped, in my opinion, because I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited to see where we go from here, because now he's got all that off his chest. Mm-hmm. Presumably next is, Cody, you're the new me, and you don't even realise it yet. And how's that going to feed into, a long way down the road, the eventual Cody turn?
Indeed. Well, we haven't really, as of last night at least, mentioned the Cena's thirst for the 17th world title, the relationship with The Rock. But like something I've always said, it's a simple phrase, let it play out. The idea in this case is that you probably actually can, much like how each and every one of you did have a bit of value last night, let it play out is probably the case here. I don't know if The Rock is simply just not answering people's calls yet, and they're having to work without him around, or exactly what or not he wants to be involved with as far as like acting on television or being at WrestleMania or whatever, but
Or Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, indeed. They will get into conversation about the title. They will get into conversation about last year's WrestleMania and how Cena was like one of Cody's Avengers and all that kind of stuff. There's more meat on the bones that they didn't even go near.
Cena and Stone Cold on that truck outside when The Rock was beating up Cody, of course. All makes sense. Guys, let it play out.
It was all a teaser for The Undertaker. We knew it.
All set up for 41. That's what I said all along.
Come on. It's another scoop for the OTJ. Well, I dare say it's another scoop for Fightful Select in the following story.
There we go.
They get a few as well. It's
They
not
do.
all Wilborn. It's not all Wilborn.
It's not all me. Sometimes they do good work. They do all the good work.
They do all the good work. Yeah, they came through with some information on the backstage response to Cena's promo last night, which you can imagine and probably guess was, quote, ecstatic.
Yeah.
They were thrilled with how that went. The report specifically noted that one WWE source told Fightful that this week's Raw was the, quote, hottest TV environment they've experienced, and said it was a good sign for TV taping there in the future. They also noted there was chants of F you Cena, and Cena is an F and B. I've censored those words, but you can pretty much guess what I'm saying. And yeah, you could hear them, obviously spoke in sort of like people from Brussels, and they were speaking in their own language.
Yeah.
But you could sense the tone of it.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
I might not speak the language, but I got it.
There was a big FU that Netflix took a couple of goals to block. Thanks again. Kids love that one. Give it 2 more runs, and then we'll bleep it. But yeah, ecstatic was indeed the word, with specifically the reaction John Cena got, but also like the fans in that building last night. Yeah, it was another. I'm not getting bored of talking about it, but it is feeling increasingly familiar.
Yeah.
To say another incredible crowd outside of like North America.
Yeah.
And this is not to dig the greatest country in the goddamn world at all. However, it's a common theme now.
Yeah.
Like these B shows that WWE started running from kind of Clash at the Castle in 2022 onwards, through to the various TV tapings and the tours and everything that WWE experienced. Look, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. They've done a pre-WrestleMania road where the majority of the dates are outside of North America, and it's generating not necessarily brand new atmospheres for the wrestlers, but an entirely different one than you would have had if you were just like running New York, Chicago, and everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating to watch, and Brussels just goes on the it goes on the Puerto Rico list, goes on the France list, doesn't it? Like, we will remember the Brussels Raw.
Absolutely, yeah. The noise was ridiculous throughout this show. Even like they showed AJ Styles in a backstage interview, and it's like, here comes that chant again.
Yeah.
I also don't like counting 1, 2, 3 in English anymore.
No, boring, rubbish. Don't like 1, 2, 3 in English.
Simplement deux.
Don't like 1, 2, sweet. I like that 1, 2, and then the song that they sing for 4 hours afterwards. Unbelievable. I like that. Like all the wrestlers were like in this backstage area in an incredible arena. It looked beautiful on television, and the backstage area was all like graffitied and signed with like presumably the stuff of the bands and the artists that had been there before. And somebody wrote Big Willie. Managed to capture that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought of U2. No, definitely nothing else. U2 have probably played that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was again like such a great, unique visual behind the scenes and on camera. Every pull out of that, like jacked and stacked crowd.
Yeah.
An intimate looking Raw for this current boom era, but not.
I don't know, like
unwelcoming.
8,000 or something like that. I'd guess off the top of my head.
Looked small, but I mean perfectly formed.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, on a selfish point of view, from all of us here in the UK or in Europe. God damn, it's great having Raw at tea time. I know it might be a bit of a faff, but like Americans have to I've got to avoid spoilers till after work. You lucky bastards get this all the time.
You get the best turn of it. Again, I'd be very interested in the comment section below. Like non-Americans, obviously, let us know your kind of weird experience of having a different time. But non-Americans, let us know like how you watched, what your sort of evening was with Raw on a Monday instead of it's 4 a.m. time for Tuesday morning Raw, which is something we're kind of all used to. Antipodean friends who have it like another time altogether and the like. So I'm very curious to see as we continue this European tour, where like Raws and SmackDowns are in all these other places, how people are like adjusting their viewing habits accordingly. It's fun, isn't it?
It's so much fun. Before we move on, I'm sorry to spring this on you, and I know you're a good man for sort of planning your year out. Just wondering, have you got any plans for, let's say, a month from today?
A month from today.
It's the 18th, so it'd be the 18th of April. That would be any.
The 18th. I mean, I like off the top of my head, it's a Friday, so typically I'd try and find like a bit of room for SmackDown viewing, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Well, it's just because we're going on a world tour.
What?
Which starts this Friday,
What?
by the way. We're heading to Manchester Club Academy. We will see you there. Then on to Belfast and on to Glasgow. But yes, a month today, we will be in the HyperX Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, for our SmackDown watch-along. Do join us for that one. It's going to be such an amazing night in the HyperX. Don't splash your money out on the SmackDown tickets.
Really expensive.
Save them for the NXT show, the Tuesday after WrestleMania, because we'll be there for that one as well.
Splash them on our live show tickets, and then with all the remaining money you've got, you can get booze and food and have a good time.
Exactly, yes.
Our like all day and all night hang. 4
p.m. till late?
till late. We ain't leaving till they kick us out. It's going to be a SmackDown watch along. There's going to be multiple stage shows of our live podcast. There's going to be Simon Miller doing ups and downs filmed for YouTube on that SmackDown that you can get on board with.
The overlaps Simon Miller, by the way. Shout out to Simon for that. That's awesome.
Sky Sports Simon himself.
Hey!
Then we're going to be doing a WrestleMania preview, and God knows what's going to happen there.
Hey.
And yeah, all of this will be teased and played out on the UK dates first. Yeah, we're going to be heading out on the road again this week.
Three days' time.
3 days' time. They're going to be the most fantastic and what we're saying,
intimate
shows ever. Very much like the Brussels Raw, like an intimate version of the current Boom era.
Yeah.
So too with the WhatCulture live shows. If you want a ticket, there are still some available, but we cannot wait to see people in Manchester, Belfast and Glasgow.
And your meet and greet tickets are included as part of it. So if you were thinking about, you wanted to come and take photos and ask us random wrestling questions, that's where you need to go. WhatCulture.com/tickets. And 3 days from today as well, I'll be meeting up with my new best friend, Mark Henry, because me and him are heading on tour alongside this for Sweet Chin Disco. It's the best wrestling club night that there is. Joe Hendry's going to be there for selected dates. He's going to be in Manchester as well. But if you want to join us for that one, we're also not only hitting Manchester, Belfast, we're also hitting Nottingham, then Glasgow, and then the week after we're heading to London, and I'm coming home to Birmingham the weekend after that one. If you want to get tickets for Sweet Chin Disco, dice.fm for that. And for our live shows, please do join us. It's going to be so much fun. WhatCulture.com/tickets.
It's going to be fantastic. I might have to hook you up for the Sweet Chin Disco ones.
Yeah.
I'm not making any plans specifically yet because I just want to be found scraped off the dance floors.
Right. A bit of an update on Vince McMahon. He made a very rare public appearance just the other day. He was spotted at an NBA game on Monday night, the former WWE CEO and chairman and TKO executive chairman, of course. He was courtside for Monday's Miami Heat, big fan of Heat, of course, versus New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden in New York City. He was also spotted at the Super Bowl, of course, last month. The thing that said, oh, look, so-and-so's here, and then says his name and says what his job is, described him as a former wrestling promoter.
That felt good.
Yep.
Yeah, quite like that.
In case you've been, I don't know, living under a rock, McMahon currently being sued, of course, for sued and accused, I should say, of sexual assault, sex trafficking, and physical and emotional abuse in a civil lawsuit filed by a former WWE employee. It's all ongoing, of course, so we're not going to say anything more about that. He wore like a green suit and he had like a white streak in his hair.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about this, man.
It's just weird when he makes these public appearances, isn't it? Because naturally there's not too many of them and it does become a story in and of itself. Green suit, black and white streak going through his hair. Maybe joining another like celebratory Saudi paymaster celebration. Who can say? Who can possibly say? I'm just asking questions. No, Vince McMahon on camera. I'll say this, right? He's on the Madison Square Garden Hall of Fame. When you go there, there's you can see his name engraved in there, like one of the sort of plaques, like all around the garden. There's all the various people, and he's promoted hundreds of shows. Like, it's one of them things where until otherwise, I guess, he will continue to probably quite carefully pick and choose these appearances, and then idiots on the internet like us will aggregate it because by and large people want to talk about it and people want to know what he's up to. But the main thing you always need to know that he's up to is that he is facing these legal proceedings and
rumors of him starting his own promotion.
It never goes away, that does it? But he's facing these allegations, and that, until further notice, is always the story when we talk about Vince McMahon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all the information, as always, is available online through our WhatCulture stories and the videos that we've done on this previous to that. If you need to know more about the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant case, you can find it everywhere, and I certainly encourage you to Google it if you ever do need a bit more information on it. We'll move on to a bit of a lighter note, shall we? Back on the road with WWE.
No.
They're not the only ones joining us on a European tour.
Ah.
Because they're out and about doing house shows, which they don't really do much anymore. But
No, I've enjoyed seeing clips from that.
yeah, it's
Dominic Mysterio. I do you. Kick in the bollocks.
these kind of arena shows that are just for these live crowds where you get to see the wrestlers have a bit of fun. They don't come up as much anymore. You know, it tends to just be a TV touring company now post pandemic. But as part of that, you get to see a bit of fun and games. You see the Dominic Mysterio stuff with Jey Uso. I've seen some really cool stuff with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan's matches.
Yes.
I feel like one of these days we'll be talking about them like when like Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat used to go 60 and nobody ever saw them.
Yes.
But also Ludwig Kaiser has been working sort of situationally as a babyface. Now we saw him in sublime heel form, getting his ass beat by Penta.
Really like that no holds barred match.
Tremendous bit of business, and kind of the payoff to that story for now at least, where he's become quite a prominent heel single star. He's very much come out of Gunther's shadow. It's not just Imperium's number 2 at this point. And as part of that, at various shows, including notably in Hanover and Dortmund, which
That's in Germany.
Correct, which may explain this. Ludwig Kaiser has worked babyface in matches against A-Town Down Under. He's been very well
Perennial
received as
heels,
such.
unless they're in Australia.
Fightful noted that we're told, quote, as of now, this has just been used for live events and he's not expected to work as a babyface on TV, but specific crowd reactions could adjust that week to week overseas. So yeah, I think this is probably the right call. A bit like the airtimes suiting the local audiences. Just give the fans the heroes in hometowns as well. I was at a very, it was a brilliant match. Those might remember it. If you're a fan of the ECW, the WWE ECW brand, I once saw William Regal fight for the ECW World Title against Christian in Sheffield. However, both were baby faces, and it was kind of almost, they've given Regal a match, but it wasn't against the heel champion, so the dynamic was a bit skewed. If they're doing 2 heels, great, because the fans can pick Ludwig Kaiser as the babyface.
Yes.
If any opportunity arises where a hometown star can, for one night, work as a babyface. We've seen it with Grayson Waller in Australia.
Exactly, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, it's one of those things, especially if it's not TV. If it is TV, you have to kind of work around it, but if it's not TV, you can basically have him still be that character and be like, everywhere sucks, except here, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm home. So yeah, I don't see Kaiser obviously going forward as a babyface. I'm sure he may do it eventually in his career. I think he's so talented, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching that Penta match last night going, like, he's going to just rise and rise and rise, in my opinion, up the ranks within WWE. Yeah, he's never really just been Gunther's lackey. He's always been far too talented to just be the guy who introduces him. But as a way to introduce him to a bigger audience who haven't seen him, let's say, on NXT, the perfect introduction. He's not got an ounce of body fat on him. He just knows his character so well.
Speaking of knowing his character, I've completely forgotten his name.
His name, by the way, for the fans of the WhatCulture podcast will know this already. His name is Ludwig Kaiser.
Do like how he's thrown himself even further to the left and right in those entrances.
Yeah.
It's getting more audacious.
His little walk out like that.
Yeah.
I do it at a live show, so I'll fall off a stage if I do it at a live show, won't I?
Ludwig Wilbord.
Yeah.
Right, left, especially HyperX, what we've seen all along the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Massive. Yeah, no, I think it's. I just think it's really cool. It doesn't matter if you've not got popularity elsewhere. Like, say for example, like Kane, who'll get a massive pop in Spain, even though everyone else in the world apart from Knoxville despises him. There's always a home nation pop waiting for you, and you've earned that right, I think.
The Kane in Spain
is mainly a pain. If you're the booker of WWE, because it means you have to use Kane.
Or the pirate guy. More bloody work.
Yeah. Is the territory not on fire enough without me having to press them over?
By the way, does Penta's entrance get more and more ridiculous every
class,
week?
isn't it? I
Even
love
Kevin Nash is like, see all this?
You know, chill out on that, mate. Maybe they're just like, they'd already had double the budget because it was for him and Phoenix. And then because they're like, Phoenix isn't coming until like the next few weeks or months or whatever, it's like, well, we paid for it anyway. Like, let's use some of it now. And
maybe that's how they're going to introduce him, a Phoenix from the Flames.
No, I mean, we cannot top that.
On that note, let us know your thoughts on everything we've discussed and how much you must miss Andy Murray doing these news.
Yeah.
In the comment section below, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Get your tickets for the live show, whatculture.com/tickets. And in the meantime, why not check out this video right here? I'm not as good as Andy, so I don't know what it is, but give it a click.
Click it!
Go on.